Can you hear me now? Testing 1, 2. Really, no sound. Hold on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Hey, Bob, Robert, how you doing? Okay, like I was telling Stacy, I've been having problems with my left hand, but for the last month, it kind of went away, but now it's flaring up again today. So I'm going to do the best that I can. Now we have a lot of work to do on the drum pad today, and it's hand exercise. We're developing single strokes, and I did take the liberty of taking something from Charlie Wilcoxon's book, Rudimental Swing Solos. I had to change a few things for copyright infringement, but that's okay. I have that under control. So, let's talk about the one PDF where it says singles. The sheets, you should have 2 or 3 of them, singles and doubles. And we're going to work with first singles. Now, it's a combination of 16th notes and 32nd notes. Now, Robert and Stacy, do you know how to count 32nd notes? It's really simple. Okay, no response. It's, I guess, a big delay. All right, now, you know how to count 16th notes. I'm going to count one measure of 16th notes, alternating the strokes, and I'm going to play them in full strokes, like up here. Okay? And the way you count 16th notes is 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. Now, the way I count those 16ths, that's 1 E and a, or the, or whatever you want to say. All right, what I do, all right, is I double the stroke with the count. So if I went 1 E and the, and I wanted to make that one, the first downbeat 32nd notes, it would be 1 E and the. Do you see that there, Stacy? Robert? Okay, I need an approval from you, Stacy, there. 1 E and the 16ths. 30 seconds. 1 E and the. You understand that? Okay, so let's go to the first exercise. And if you look at line 1, you see, let me get the sheet out. Okay, we got that. So now, you take the first sheet of singles. That's page 1. Oh, come on, Matt. I feel nothing in that pinky right now. It's frightening. That was from that childhood injury I had, not from drumming. All right, let's go to line 1 of the single strokes. Now, we're not going to be able to accomplish all of them today, but we're going to go as far as we can. So I'm going to play the first line up to 3, like this. 1, E. I put an accent on the 1, but I want you to do these right now in full strokes. So you have 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the. Now when I come to 4, you have 2/16 and 4/32. So I have 4, E, and the 1. That takes me back to my right hand. Want me to do that again is 4, E, and the 1. We're there. Everybody understand that? So if I'm going to do them still in full strokes. I'm going to do line 1 nice and slow. 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, 1. Now, do we understand that? The 30 seconds at the end. The 30 seconds starts on the and the of 4. So I have 4, E, and the 1. I need a yes or a no there. All right, no response yet. Okay. All right, so I keep doing line 1. You can respond while I'm playing this. So if you understand it, fine. If you don't, I'll re-explain it. 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and 1. All right, we have that. Okay, good. Now, that's to the right hand. Now, I wasn't going to write out the same line again with a left hand lead. Okay, so all you have to do is reverse the sticking pattern, like 1, E, and the is right, left, right, left. And if I reverse it starting with the left, it'll be left, right, right. So you're going to have to do that. Hey, Jim, you're going to have to do that. So we did this already right-sided. All right, we went 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, 1. Now we're going to change that to the left-hand lead. Simple, you just start with the left. So you have 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, 1, E. Do we see that? What right at the end? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right. Dennis, all right, here's what we're going to do. If you eliminate that right at the end to right left, you're going to just be doing number 1 over and over again. Watch, line 1. If I take 4, E, and brings me back to my right. Okay? So what I have now, you don't understand the right at the end, it would be 4, E, and, 4, E, and the, as the double, it makes the shift over to the left. So turn around, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the, back to 1. The 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and 1. Do you understand that now? If you want to do, first off, I should have done that. It was just too much writing. So this is the actual exercise. And the reason why this is written this way is to distribute the workload, okay, from the right hand to the left hand. But now, let me see, what's this? Do you understand it now, Dennis? RR? What repeats, sir? Oh, that's at the end. If I did, first off, what you did, exercise number 1 is 8 measures, 2 measures rather. Okay? The first measure, you're doing a right hand lead. All right, when I get to 4, it's 4, E, and da. I play 2 rights there. That leaves my left hand open now to start. So I go to the second line. 1, E, and da. 2, E, and da. 3, E, and da. 4, E, and now I double it. It takes me back to the right side. Yeah, well, when you do the exercise, the 2 measures as one exercise, yes. What I started to do here is because a couple people did not understand how to didn't understand how to count 30-second notes. So what I'm doing, okay, is I'm taking line 1 as a right hand lead over and over again. So if I did that, when I come to 4, I'm not going to double the last stroke. 4, E, and da, freezing my right hand up. Now, if you're going to continue, and I would actually let you do, you should do that. Do the first line over and over again, but change that 2 rights to the last right as a left, continue the first line. But if you want to go directly into line 2, you're using the double as the turnaround. So you have 4, E, and F. 4, E, and da, 1. Do we understand that? Okay. That's my fault. You could take each line separately, or you could take line number 1 to 2 measure increment, which distributes the workload to the right and to the left equally. That's the concept of the stick control. Right hand, left hand sound. Equalizing the sound. Okay? We all understand that, right? So, what I would do first is do it as one exercise, a right hand lead. Stay there for a while, okay? Then stop and do line 2 as a left hand lead. So you get familiar with the right hand lead and the left hand lead. Once you feel good with that, take exercise 1 as a 2 measure increment, because what you're doing is you're distributing the workload from the right hand lead to the left hand lead without any disruption. Now I'm demonstrating this in full strokes, just to explain the exercise. Once you've done this about 4 million times, okay, then you want to change the sticking height. First off, the full stroke is up here. Before I make the next stroke, I'm back. Watch when I do 1, E, and da. 1 is back, E is back, and is back, da is back. That's to relax, to feel it. Now, if you want to increase your speed, you want to go to a different position. The stick should be closer to impact of the snare drum or the drum pad. All right? Here, it's just more or less familiarizing yourself with the exercise and loosening up. Now, when I play it closer to the drum, it allows me to play it a little faster. I could have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 2E and 3E and 4E and so I can actually play it a little faster and a lot smoother. The same thing with the left hand lead. You know, you got 1E and 2E and E and 4E, 2E and 3E and 4E and 1. And then you combine the two measures together. Do we all understand that? So I can move on to number 2. Yes? No? Do we all understand line 1? You understand, Robert. It's a good exercise. And out of this comes a tremendous amount of stick control formulas in addition to what you have. So when I get a little extra time, which sometimes is very rare right now, I will write out maybe the left-hand side of stick control book using this concept, okay, as a formula. Stacy, Dennis understands it, Robert understands it, Stacy, and Jim understands it. Okay, so let's go to exercise number 2. Now, the difference between exercise 1 and exercise 2, on the count of 4, I'm extending the 30-second notes. I'm going to do line 2, right hand lead, a couple times, but slow. So you can feel how it's going to happen for you. So exercise number 2, you have 1, E, and no accent, 2, E, full strokes, 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and Do you see where I started the 30 seconds on 4? That would be 1, 2, 3, 3E and 4E. Now, this becomes pretty cool. I was taught this not by Joe Morello, by one of my other teachers that I had for a very short period, and I mean short period of time. His name was Charlie Tapp, and I've mentioned him a few times. And he did show this to me. But he didn't explain it both right hand and left hand lead. Now, it's the same concept to make the change. When I do line 2, if I want to go directly into the second line of the exercise 2, I use the doubles. Okay? Hey, Paul, where you been hiding? Ha! I use the doubles to make the transition smooth. So I'm going to do line 2, that exercise number 2. Okay? That way, slow. 1, E, and 2. 3, 4, E, and 1. And see the left? 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1. You see how I made that change? And this comes through what we had. Remember the turnarounds from stick control? You weren't here, Stacy. Jim, were you here with the turnarounds? You should have the turnarounds either in the stick control book formulas or in some place in your files if you print them out and put them in protector sheets and in a binder. We understand so far, correct? Now these are really good. Now that was extending the 4. If I go to 3, exercise number 3, my 30 seconds are going to start on the and of 3. So let me do it really slow. Exercise number 3. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1. Now staying to the left. I make the change, I put the duple at the end of the 30-second. That makes the transition from the right hand lead to the left hand lead smooth. Hoist, how are you? You're late again. Do you understand everything that I'm doing? It's hard to, it's 15 minutes, man. I started early, but I mean, I can't go over the beginning. You got to try to get here earlier. It's a 7-hour difference or 5-hour difference. It's 6:15 or 18:15, 18:15 in Germany, correct? This is going to be, it's taped, Hoist. So when this is processed, you can come back and watch it, okay? I can't start over again. Now, we'll just take the first page, all right? There's 3 exercises of the single stroke roll development. Now, we did exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3. Do we understand now how we do this without the duple on the end, so we do that one line over and over again? Or if we add the duple to the end, if I add the duple to the end, it makes the change. Now, there's a few different exercises if you're not familiar with 30-second notes, and I didn't write this down because I'm going to demonstrate it now. If I play 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda, and I made 2 enda and 4 enda 30-second notes. If I did this, this is actually half of the 30-second notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and the same thing with the left. That's going to become a formula in the stick control book. It's best to review right now, or you should be on it, is the turnarounds that I've come up with stick control, like line 3. Do we remember the turnarounds from there? We'll have a review on that maybe tonight, okay? We're going to do it a drum pad again tonight. All right? Now, the one page, Rome wasn't built in a day, and, you take your time. The object here is to familiarize yourself the change of 16th notes to 32nd notes. Get that nice and easy. You're not after speed right now. You're after a consistent sound on the right hand, a consistent sound on the left hand, and you put them, when you feel good with the exercise, find yourself a home on the metronome. Now, you guys should at least be doing this 40 or 50, okay? Or if you can do it faster, I won't be impressed. You have to be relaxed so you can go forward with it. If you start feeling any kind of tension when you're getting faster, regress back to the one that you felt no tension at all, and stay there until you get stronger, then move it up. Okay? Now, like I mentioned before, I took the liberty on the second PDF that you have, Rolling in Rhythm. It's a solo from Charlie Wilcoxon's book. And this particular solo was dedicated to Joe Morello. I guess because of the levels or whatever. Oh, excuse me. So we're going to take maybe 2 lines of this, and that's what we're going to take. And I don't want to give you an overload you, because there's nobody that's watching this right now in this group of my regulars that does not practice 5-6 hours a day, because there's so much to do on the drum set, so much to do on the drum pad. So, like I said before, for copyright infringement laws, I did change a few things so they can't bust my chops and have the copyright police knocking on my door, handing me a ticket for 10 grand. So I have to be very careful. Now, if you want to buy it, purchase the book Up the Road someplace. There's some really nice drum solos in there. And I'm just going to work with maybe 1, 2, maybe 4 lines. Now this has to do, and you see how it's associated, we didn't do the doubles yet for the lessons, for the development, but all this is a combination of 8th notes and 16th notes. And you see the sticking pattern. And if you count the notes, you'll find that's a certain kind of roll. That's a 11-stroke roll. That's a 5-stroke roll, 6-stroke roll. It's all in here. So I look at the first line, and I say, okay, I have an 8th note, 2 16ths, and 4 16ths. I'm going to follow the sticking pattern. Now I want all the doubles, or all the non-accents, to set the sound consistent, the same. I want the accents to not pound them, but really hit them. So if I did the first measure, I'm going to count 1 E and 2 E and it's a little too fast. 1 E and 2 E and okay? And I'm just going to play it the first measure. My hand is up here like this, and I'm being very regimented, and I don't play like a robot. I'm demonstrating, instructing the way with the levels, the way it's supposed to be. So I take the first measure, I start here. Why do I start here? Well, you got an accent, so I'm going to nail it. But now look at my hands. Both my hands are equal distant to the surface of the drum pad or the drum. Let me do it again. I'm starting here. 1, E, then the 16ths, and the, 2, E, and the. After the first measure, that's where my sticking position is. Do it again. 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the. Okay, do we all understand the first measure? All right, we're going to go to the second measure. Just the second measure alone. So the second measure, there is no accents. So they're all coming down from one point. So you have 1, E, and the, 2, E. But look now, I'm up. Why am I up? I'm in position now to attack the up and coming accent. Do it again. 2, E, and the 1. I come back down to nail the accent. Do we all understand this? All right, you understand it. So if I played, say, the first 3 measures. How about that? But see now, you don't want to attack it that way. I get a lot of comments, man, I watch your lessons, I fall asleep. Well, you know what I say to that? Tough shit, go to sleep. I'm breaking it down so you're doing it the way it should be done. I mean, where you put this, the way you play this on a drum set, there's nobody can say there's a right or wrong. I'm explaining to you the equalness of the doubles or the sounds. There's 2 different sounds on this page. There's the accent and non-accent. Do we agree with this? I mean, I don't want to put you guys to sleep. Now, we're on the 3rd measure, and I'm going to hit that. When I come off the 2nd measure, I'm coming down to nail that right. So I'm going on the 3rd measure. That's going to be 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the 4, look at that, free stroke. Why? My next right, what is it? An accent. So I'm going to do it again. 4, E, and the 1. Hoist, do you understand that? Stacy, do you understand it? Dennis? You see how I I'm putting my hands in position. I'm not performing the solo. I'm breaking it down with the levels. I played this thing a million times and I have nightmares about it. Okay, so what you're trying to do is accomplish that sound. One eagle sound, you want an accent. Stick has to come up and come down. Simple. All right, so that takes care of the first 4 measures. And we left the position like this. Because on the and, that's 4, 2, E, and da. That's the end of the last measure. And I'm going on to line 2, measure number 5. I have 1, E, and, the, 2. Now watch, E, I have to come up. And, the, now I'm going to nail that right hand accent, but I'm going to have to stay down. 1, E, and, now up, the, 2, E, and. Now everybody here, if you're not familiar with it, you know, you have to understand the levels, why you come up, why you hit it down, the 2 different sounds. And if you get into a very difficult book, like say Portraits in Rhythm, there's all kinds of dynamic markings. So your hand position is going to go all over the place. You should be extremely familiar with the level system inside of this. Now I'm only going to do 2 lines. All right, and we're going to end it after the second line. We're going to go back to the top. So you keep repeating this over and over again because it's the same hand position if I went to the 3rd line. What is this? No, don't know which site. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about, Hoist. If you go, I'm assuming that you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel, Hoist, okay? And you want to come and you view it after the lesson, just put in the search, live stream. Today's date is what? March 30th. And it'll come up. Maybe one of you guys here could definitely explain that to him. Have you been watching the videos that have been posted for, that were recorded, all the lessons? No, don't know which site. There is no site. You're on a site now. You're on my YouTube channel site. What site don't you know? Be more specific. All right, do we understand how we do the singles and develop a little bit the whole page? And this guy, 2 lines. Do we all understand that? Ladies and gentlemen, guys, there is such a delay here. It really is. There is absolutely nothing I can do about a delay. It's the internet. Which page are we talking about? The page is the rolling in rhythm. You have 2 sets of PDFs. The first set is single and double development. Okay? The 3rd one is rolling in rhythm. Is that what you're referring to? Rolling in rhythm. That's it. Thank you, Robert. Of course, you're from Germany, correct? And I have a huge respect for somebody who could speak 2 languages. Probably you could speak about 10. Okay, and I have a lot of patience for that. Any questions on anything? Now we're going to come back here, 7 p.m. tonight. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 12 p.m. your time, Hoist. Maybe you can make it. And we'll see how you guys practice, okay, how far you got and if there's any questions. You guys working okay? Working out okay with the other solos, the 6/8 solos that I've sent? Any questions on that? Put them together. Either email me and we'll address them tonight at 7 p.m. Okay? Understand day. Any questions? Questions? Oh, my left hand hurts. Mercy, Lord, ouch. Yeah, well, there are certain, you're absolutely correct. But see, the YouTube server, all right, is probably the biggest server you could possibly have. And yeah, there is a lot of traffic on the internet. And what happens with that, everybody has to wait their turn. Okay? Oh, what do we have here? Okay. No questions? You talk about homework. All the kids are in the world are home from school. They're doing schoolwork. My little daughter gets up so early. She does it all. And then she's outside playing basketball right now in her court. Okay, guys. I'm trying to upgrade my site, and I hope I have no issues with whoever I have to speak to. Okay. We shall see everyone this evening, 7 p.m. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, it's going to be available, but it's been taken off the market right now, I believe. And another publisher, excuse me, is going to revise it, and I guess pick up the royalties on it or whatever. And I have the book, and what we'll do, whatever we need to use. I mean, it's a drum pad work. We'll get in. We'll do some drum set application for the solos. The solos in the Wilcoxon book are fantastic. Not that you're going to go out and play a barroom gig and you're going to play rock and you're going to use the Wilcoxon book. This is about you becoming an artist, develop your own voice. And what this does, gives you a nice sound on one surface. And then when we get to the drum set, I could shoot out some ideas, maybe stimulate your creativity and continue the fire of your passion. Okay, I got to go. Oh, before I start ranting. Okay, guys, see everybody 7 p.m. this channel. And if you want to go over the lesson, it's being filmed now. As soon as I go off, it's processing. As soon as it's over with, you can review it. How's that sound? Okay, guys. Have a good day.